starting. Yeah, online, no viewers, but I told everybody to обновить, how to say it in English. Refresh the page, so I think they will join us eventually. Yeah, they're here. So once again, hello everybody.
Did you just do an outfit change, Evgeny?
Sorry?
Did you do an outfit change in the break?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. What you're talking about. I'm just screwing with continuity.
Okay. So where are we starting?
Where were we?
Yeah, we were talking actually about like the fabulous application of for Larian for the writer position. I know for sure that it's not under NDA because I can talk about it. But yeah, from the inside person, how would you describe and what actually takes as a test to get into Larian for the writer position?
Well, first of all, you have to apply with a good portfolio. So you need to have like a strong set of writing that showcases different kinds of writing. So my portfolio, I had a chapter of my book, a play, a poem, a blog post, and a twine game, and kind of like links to the games that I was working on, but that weren't, available to play. And then after interview, there was a test, and the test was writing a full scenario within given parameters. So I was actually going to GDC that week, and it was so I had a week to do it, and I went to GDC, and I got up every morning at 6 a.m. and sat in the common room of the hostel in San Francisco for 3 hours every morning, working on my situation for the application. And then I remember on the Friday night, it was like, because I knew I had to send on the Friday night, running home from the conference and sitting, and like everyone was like drinking beers and having fun and all that, and I was like, no, gotta finish my application. So I did that, and that was it. Oh, and then that was not it. After that, there was a second interview where we went in and we sat, and we basically did like a full kind of writers, like how it is when we're actually doing our writing team meetings, which is sitting and arguing for several hours about how things should be in particular areas, and throwing out ideas and feeling about how we're gonna make an area work. And that's pretty much exactly how we work a lot of the time when we're making areas. So it's good to see if people can get into that mindset of arguing for hours.
Is there a lot of arguing at Larian?
Not arguing, but like, this is a good idea. No, this is a good idea. Well, what about this? And, a lot of back and forth. Yeah.
The usual communication is the most important thing.
Yeah. It's all about being able to communicate your ideas effectively in the meetings. And then when that's done, being able to communicate the ideas that happened in the meetings effectively to the rest of the team. And then being able to communicate the things that you want from those moments into the game so that people understand them and enjoy them, more importantly.
Okay. I have many questions actually. Shарлin, yep. Okay, start with Larian and your work in writer's room. Is it different from movies? How is it? How does it work in the game industry?
Well, I have to say I've never worked in movies. Two of my colleagues are mainly scriptwriters, so they would have a better idea of that than me. But I've never worked in television or movies, so I don't know. But how it really works a lot of the time is we'll sit all together around a big table and discuss what we're going to do, and then just throw ideas back and forth, and over again, kind of keep going back over it until we find the fun, and then find ways to try and break that. And then if we don't break it and we think it's still fun and it's going to work, then we'll go and write it up. And one of the kind of key things I think about our writing team, I don't know if other writing teams are like this, but is that we use Google Docs a lot. So, but I don't mean like we just use Google Docs the way we'd use Microsoft Word. all of the writers on the writing team will be all working in the same document at the same time, to kind of coalesce all of our ideas together and make one, solid plan or story. And then from that, we'll go ahead and work from that to make the game. Another thing that's probably maybe a little bit different about us as writers compared to other writers in the industry is that I know a lot of writers in the industry don't actually work inside the game. They will do their writing like in Word or in a spreadsheet and then give it to somebody else to implement. But we actually we actually do all of our own work inside the game. We make the dialogues inside the editor. We test them inside the editor. We play them in the game. We iterate over and over again. But we make our own work in the game.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, what about, do you start from gameplay or from the script, from the plot?
From the plot.
From the plot.
As a writer, I start from the plot. Other people will have other, main objectives, but we are always thinking in every scenario about what the gameplay is going to be in every given situation. So we're never just going, oh, this is a cute story, or oh, this will be really nice to tell. We're like, well, what's the gameplay? What's the fun? What are they going to do? And are they going to enjoy it? And what does it mean? And how does it advance the story? There's a lot of things going on all the time.
So you start with the story and then you plan gameplay for this story.
Yeah, so basically we'll write the whole story, like for the whole game, and then we'll split that into smaller pieces for each individual area. So like the writing team basically write the whole story for the whole game, and then each individual area is split up and goes to a smaller team. So like, for example, we would take like one small area and that would have a scripter, and the scripter will like design all of the gameplay and how it works in the world and, everything that's actually happening. And the writer will do the dialogue and the books and the items and things like that. But the scripter and the writer work really closely together to make their situation work. And so it's really interesting. Like, I mean, I can tell now when I look at Original Sin 2, I can see a situation and I know who the scripter is and who the writer is, because people have their quirks and ways of doing things. But each little thing, like every single little piece that's done, was done by a writer and a scripter working like this.
Okay, and how do you manage with the situations when you need to rewrite some pieces, and what if we change the whole picture?
I mean, that happens a lot. We just do it. Yeah.
I think that's the main problem in games when you have I don't know 100 hours of game, and you need to make the story consistent, and everything just fall apart in the process of designing. Yeah.
So we keep a very strong handle on our core story document. So whenever anything is changed in any kind of review or any situation, we'll always make sure that that's reflected in the core story document, so that we can always refer to that as how things should be. But yeah, I mean, sometimes things change along the way in development, and then it is a bit of a slog to go back through all the characters who, for example, if you change the name of a character, but people have been talking about that character all along, you have to go back and, change all the dialogues to talk about that character and all the books and all that kind of thing, or the location of a character. Those kind of things that seem quite small can end up, taking you a good chunk of a day to fix.
How do you not let this huge file where all of you are working not descend into complete chaos with a bunch of writers writing at the same time?
Well,
or am I taking it too literal?
We kind of I mean, once it's done, we try not to keep poking at it like with a stick, because it's an angry beast. So we like to let it sleep like a dragon, But I think we kind of take it in turns to be the kind of the whip of the document, and the whip of the document, makes sure that all the comments are always resolved and that things are in their right place. So, it depends on the day. Like sometimes there's a lot of things that need to be resolved, early in production, there's a lot of things that need to be resolved. And then later on, I guess the idea is that there isn't. And we're just writing dialogues. Because it's very, you know, very different. We start writing only core story, and then we move in and we should be just writing dialogues.
What is your favorite part of your job? Dialogues or story or world building? What?
Actually, my favorite thing is that every day is different. That's my actual favorite thing. Is that, you know, I can go in like last week, you know, we have big story meetings and we're sitting around the table and we're shouting and we're having fun and we're crafting all these worlds and we're all up in our heads. Wow, you know, and we're just like spinning everything up. And then you can have a quiet day where it's just like, okay, today I'm just going to write a dialogue for a squirrel. And you just get into your squirrel mindset and you sit down and you just write your squirrel. And I love that you can have squirrel days and crazy days, and you never know what it's going to be. You know, I can come in the morning and have a plan, but you never know what's going to happen, and I love that. Like, it's always fresh. I can't believe I've worked there for 3.5 years, and it feels like hardly any time at all. I think because it's just so fresh. Whereas in my old jobs, you get very used to the same thing happening over and over again, and it starts to make time feel very long.
Yeah, guys, audience, we waiting for your questions because we're now talking for 40 minutes. So if you have questions for Šarlīne or about course, please ask it. And I have more questions about your teaching.
Okay.
Well, can you share with us, because you know we start teaching because we started teaching just in the middle of nowhere without any methods or any programs, just for scratch. How do you do it?
Well, I mean, I did the same exact thing. It's like when I started, I was given like three years ago, I was given the course in Dublin Institute of Technology on interactive narrative, which was basically around making twine games, you know, basic branching narrative stories. And so I had to make it from scratch myself, based on the things that I thought were interesting and useful. And I have to say that for me, the most valuable thing was teaching it, because when I taught it, I saw the things that I could make better and the things that made the students unsure or confused. And so each year that I've done it has gotten better. And basically, yeah, over time, the students kind of told me the stuff that wasn't working, and I made it better for the next ones. And then I stopped teaching because I didn't have time anymore. But really, I think the idea is, for me, is you make them able to access the writing capability that they have, because everybody can write, but different people are better at writing different kinds of things, right? So like, I'm better at writing those kind of descriptive, sensual imagery kind of things. And my friend Sarah, the lead writer, is fantastic at writing real snappy, punchy dialogues. And so you find the thing that you're good at writing, and then you try and bring that out of the students. And so the way to do that is by doing lots of exercises, and then translating those writing exercises into simple branching narratives. Teaching really from very early on the importance of meaningful choice. So like, I think I told you about this one before, Evgeny, that when I teach my students twine, like one year, I think it was like the year before last, there was 40 students in the class. We made a twine game in class, their first twine game, and out of the 40 of them, 12 had the exact same beginning choice in the game. So, and they couldn't have been copying off each other. We were just doing it in class, but their choice was basically, you wake up in the morning, do you hit the snooze button or get up, right? And like, that's a terrible choice, because if you hit the snooze button, your next choice is going to be the same choice again, right? It's just this loop. And so the idea of like trying to get them to consider what a meaningful choice is. If you're a good writer and you can craft meaningful choices and you can do that to a deadline, then you'll be a good writer, a good games writer. So everything that I would do would be like trying to make them do those 3 things.
That is exactly what our course is about.
Awesome.
There's a lot of correlation, and whatever you're saying, it's almost exactly what I'm was trying to do with the guys on the first iteration of the course that ran in the winter. And for this one, I'm just doubling down on stuff that works and switching up, removing, and reiterating on the stuff that was a little bit weaker or too demanding. But overall, yeah, it's just there to bring out the best out of people and to allow them to express themselves in whatever and find where they can express themselves best.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, everybody can do it. It's just about finding the thing you can do and then using discipline to craft that thing. And then, the 4th most important thing, after being a good writer, meaningful choice, and working diligently to deadlines, is sharing. So sharing is like huge because people are really scared to share, especially with writing, because writing always feels really personal and like it's really close inside your heart. And you know that you don't want somebody to stand all over your heart with their muddy boots. So it's really hard to share, but you have to get over that really fast. If you want to be a games writer, you got to get used to having your heart stood on with muddy boots and just learn to love it. Or if not love it, accept it. Because if you are sharing, if you're really sharing something authentic and something good, then the people who really like it, they'll really, really love it. And it's okay about the other people. And if you don't share something that's real and true, then nobody cares. People want the real stuff. So you got to give them the real stuff and let them hate it or love it, whatever they do.
Yep. I have one more question.
Yeah.
About such stuff. In my experience, there is a conflict in writing thinking and game writing thinking. When you switch between just writing a novel, third person reality, and then when you have a player, an actor in this field.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about it? Have you this problem also, or had you this problem also? And what about your students? Do you have you see these problems with them?
I think I probably did have that problem more at the start, but to be honest, now the problem goes the other way, which is that on my day when I'm supposed to be sitting at home and writing my novel by myself, I find it very difficult because I've become so used to working in a hive mind with the other writers that we're all like the Borg, like connected to each other through some kind of neural network, that I no longer really have the ability to, a lot of the time, to write by myself because I've outsourced a lot of my brain to the rest of the writers. And so it's kind of, that's the tricky part for me, is coming back to my own writing rather than going to the games writing. For my students, not really, because they are mostly 19 years old and don't have any writing experience already. So for them, the writing that I teach them how to do is the only writing they've ever done, or at least very close to the first writing they've ever done. So if I tell them how to do something, that's how they learn how to do it. Whereas for me, I had been writing for 20 years or something before I ended up writing games. So I think there is a bit more of a hurdle if you're more used to writing normal writing first. I don't know. Does that answer the question? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because I think I know why I have this problem, because my students are much older, 25 and more. And in this age, people usually get used to write like writers, without player, without interactivity. So that's why I have this problem.
Yeah. Well, I think I do have one really, really good exercise for doing meaningful choice, but I will save that and tell you guys it so that you can use it on the course, because it's really good for making meaningful choices, and it's also a lot of fun. So yeah, we can talk about that one later.
Okay, do you have more questions? Because our audience have no questions, or they are very shy. Or I don't know what's wrong with them. So many questions.
I don't think so for right now. Like it's been 50 minutes. Shouldn't we just talk about the wrap up?
Yeah, but it's I want to switch on our selling mode and tell people to join our course. It's fun. We know how to teach you to make meaningful choices and to write meaningful choices.
Yes.
Okay, Shalin, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being the first English-speaking speaker in Webinar.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Окей. Все, я переключаюсь тогда на русский. И делаю небольшое завершение. Ребят, я понимаю, что это было несколько неожиданно, и ваше молчание в чате показывает, что вы такие замерли в неизвестности, но я думаю, что это очень здоровская практика, и мы будем еще так делать. То есть вот так вот, как мы сейчас общались, не совсем так свободно, более структурированно, в более учебном формате будут проходить вебинары на курсе. Примерно такой уровень понимания языка вам нужен для того, чтобы на этом курсе участвовать и писать на английском. Это все абсолютно реально, абсолютно возможно. И не упускайте, пожалуйста, возможность. Мы первые, кто это делает, я не побоюсь этого слова. И когда еще повтор будет, неизвестно, в смысле будет, но не скоро. И опять-таки, какой там будет состав спикеров, пока неизвестно, Женя готовит все эти вещи. Присоединяйтесь. Есть пока возможность, есть места, 9 мест у нас осталось, повышение цены будет ближе к курсу, поэтому успевайте, пожалуйста, и присоединяйтесь вот к этому чудесному состоянию, когда вы чувствуете себя частью большой вселенной и можете говорить на общем языке, и писать на общем языке, и участвовать в гораздо более глобальных и важных проектах, чем мы привыкли. Жень, у тебя есть что добавить?
Да, я хочу добавить немного про лайнап. Лайнап у нас, я в восторге от него, я очень горд собой, что у нас это получилось. Да, во-первых, к нам последнее добавление к лайнапу был есть James Portnow из Extra Credits, Extra History, Extra Sci-Fi, Call of Duty, Rainmaker Games, где он работал со всеми от Zynga до Riot, и сейчас он работает, или не сейчас, я не уверен в этом моменте, Snow Cannon Games, как интерим дизайн-директор. Первым спикером на курсе будет Шарлин Патни, с которой вы уже знакомы. Мы будем говорить, мы будем заходить реально глубоко в интересные вещи, и мы будем говорить детально и практично, потому что нет смысла дополнительно спрашивать про, как Шарлин попала в индустрию. Мы будем говорить о том, какие проблемы были и каким образом происходило решение. Также на курсе братья Фолькман из Макс и Ник Фолкман из Script Log Podcast и Massive Chalice. Это самое близкое к Тиму Шаферу, что мы смогли сделать. Крис Авилон, Fallout... Крис Авилон, его не нужно представлять. Дэвид Гейдер, опять же, человек, не нуждающийся в представлении, Dragon Age, Baldur's Gate и так далее, и так далее. И Таня X Short, которая капитан Kid Fox Games, которая работала над Moonhunters, Shrouded Isle и сейчас работает над Boyfriend Dungeon. У них была еще 4-я игра, но я ее постоянно забываю. 6 человек я объявил? 6?
6 человек, беспрецедентный, ребят, просто беспрецедентный курс с такой кучей народу, то есть он будет построен, как, Женя, расскажи, как будет построен курс, чтобы народ знал, чего ждать.
Да, курс будет, в курсе есть несколько элементов. Во-первых, это письменные лекции, обкатанные на живых людях на предыдущей версии, и в них есть правки, которые будут сделать его лучше. Будут также упражнения. Все упражнения связаны одной конвой. Вы будете делать на протяжении 8 недель свой текстовый квест, свою текстовую игру можно сделать ее не квестом, написанную в Ink Engine. Ink Engine — это движок 80 Days, и причина, почему мы используем его, на самом деле, в том, что я просто не умею пользоваться Twine. Ink Engine делает практически все то же самое, возможно, местами он даже гибче, и в моей голове это язык, который позволяет, скриптовый язык, который позволяет и писать, и кодить одновременно, что является огромным плюсом для него. Кроме этого, каждую неделю будут проводиться вебинары. У нас 6 спикеров, Ник и Макс Фолькман, они будут вместе. 6 спикеров для вебинаров, на которых они будут присутствовать лично. Вы сможете задать им дополнительные вопросы, поговорить с ними на глубокие темы, они будут с радостью отвечать. Также будут вебинары, где буду присутствовать я и буду помогать вам отвечать на вопросы, которые у вас есть по мастерству, и общаться с вами. Также вам будет предоставлен либо Slack, либо Discord, в зависимости от того, что мы в результате будем делать, для того, чтобы вы могли общаться вместе с собой, где можно мне письменно будет задать вопросы, и где вы сможете общаться с коллегами и делиться с тем, что вы нарабатываете. На выходе, по-хорошему, у вас должна будет получиться Ink-игра, которую вы сможете... Ink свободно позволяет вам написать игру самим, выложить ее на itch.io и радостно наслаждаться вниманием. Все будет на английском, абсолютно на английском. Гайдлайн предыдущего курса был No Russian, поэтому вы будете общаться друг с другом на английском, и все, что происходит в рамках курса, происходит на английском. Основная задача — это предоставить вам safe space для того, чтобы тренироваться в creative writing in English.
Да, не бойтесь английского. Тут из native спикеров у нас только гости, все остальные non-native спикеры. И мало того, у нас уже, по-моему, международный курс, Жень, да, потому что уже не только русскоязычные ребята к нему присоединяются.
Да, у нас появился первый хорват.
Ну, где первый, там и второй. Вот, так что, ребят, присоединяйтесь. 2 месяца погружения в язык, 2 месяца изготовления собственного портфолио для того, чтобы впоследствии иметь возможность трудоустраиваться за рубеж или в зарубежные конторы, не выходя из дома. Можно спокойно жить в России, в СНГ и работать аутсорсом на международные студии, соответственно, получая зарплату в других денежных знаках. Не мне вам рассказывать, какие профиты это несет за собой. Вот. So, let's finish our small conversation. Selling part is over. And Charlene, maybe you have something to tell our students, our audience, and something to share with them, some advice, some more advice.
Well, okay. The number one piece of advice I have for being a better writer involves writing more. And a really good way of doing that is when you get up in the morning, before you do anything else. This is from The Artist's Way, one of the books I was talking about earlier that I'll send you on the list of, is you get up in the morning and you write for 10 minutes or 3 A4 pages, longhand with a pen, and you don't care about what it is. You're not trying to do anything. Even if you're just writing, this is stupid, this is stupid, this is stupid, you just keep writing until the 10 minutes are done. And it's like a I don't know how to say, like a palate cleanser, or it's, you know, it's like you're puking out all the crazy thoughts that are just at the top of your head, so that you can actually access good writing for the rest of the day. It's 10 minutes, and it'll make you a much better writer. If you try it for a week, you'll be amazed. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much. And Jenny, thank you too.
Aww. And thank you, Masha.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Cool. Yeah. Well, I'll chat to you guys next month then.
Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Bye. Пока-пока.
Bye. Всем пока.